Hey you guys, what's up? It is Mossy. We are back with yet another LCS coverage video, and today is the day. Well, really, this weekend is the weekend. We are coming in here and we are looking at the last two final matchups. We got 100 Thieves versus Cloud9 on Saturday, and then the winner of that will go on to play TL in the LCS finals to figure out who wins. And I'm just so excited to see, how everything pans out. I think there were a lot of doubts throughout the season about, each and every one of these three teams remaining. Especially for myself, I do want to point out I was correct in my prediction. TL did end up winning their series, the last one that they played, that is, and it, to be fair, the upper bracket finals were they did it being a 3-2 rather than a 3-1 like I predicted, but TL still looking very, very good in some of those games. So we have so much to talk about, so let's just get into it. Alright, so last weekend we had two banger matchups in the losers round 3 and in the winners finals. We got to see TSM play Cloud9, we got to see Team Liquid play 100 Thieves. And honestly, I mean, there was just like a lot of games over the week. It was just a little bit crazy in my opinion. Some of these matchups ended up being like way more exciting than maybe I would have expected. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about the losers round 3 first. A very, very back and forth series from C9. They found themselves, up against a wall in game 4 and really, really turned things around. Some of the highlights of this series, I think, Perks, I felt like Perks actually played pretty well. Perks stepped up. MVP of the series, it's notable to talk about, was Vulcan. But really, when you look at this win for C9, I don't think I can say that this is the most convincing win for C9 of all time. None of these games were, I mean, really, Game 5 was the cleanest win, and even then, there were moments. I mean, this game kind of felt like a top gap. Fudge just continuing his reign of dominance in the LCS. I'm one of the biggest Fudge fans I think out there. I know LS is a pretty big fan, and it's so it's so incredible for me to see the transformation Fudge has had, where he was looked at as this weak player. He improved so much, and now he is one of the most consistent points of C9. You look at this game 4 and 5 victory in the top gap. It's extremely noticeable. Especially when they're whipping out, they're going to the Gwen in Game 5. Gwen, a champion that I think has lost a lot of priority in the pro circuit. She's taken nerf after nerf. Teams were just like using her with Viego, and it was like those two every single game. Fudge obviously having the confidence. I'm not sure what the drafting is like, but I'm sure he said, you know what, like I feel comfortable playing it, and it had a fantastic game. Into the Nocturne top lane. Maybe not something that we would have expected. What I will say though, this was not the strongest TSM that we have ever seen. I think Spico right now looks a little bit off in the jungle. I mean, that being said, they gave him Lee Sin 4 out of 5 games, and Xin Zhao in the other one. I think that the meta is in the process of moving on. I still think that Xin Zhao is like a very, very strong jungler, but when you look at the jungler picks that C9 had, they had Xin Zhao, Lee Sin, Diana, Xin Zhao, Diana. I think that those champions are probably in a better spot than Lee Sin is right now. Lee Sin will always be a strong champion, due to the nature of his kit, but you know, I'm stuck between, did Spica have an off day? There were a few questionable plays across games in the series. I think he had good moments too. But certain pieces of TSM just didn't look as effective as they normally do. So, C9 end up taking the win for the series, and it's such a massive win. It gets them into the losers finals, where they will play, the loser of that Team Liquid winners finals series, 100 Thieves. And to talk about that one a little bit, 100 Thieves, I mean, really, it was weird to me. watching this series through, I mean, really the series score went somewhat similar with TL taking those last two games. One thing I will say about Team Liquid in their current form is like Alfari and Santorin appear to be really stepping up, and you're finally getting the gameplay that you would expect. You know, from this bot lane, like it feels like we're seeing tactical with sort of a return to form from the previous LCS finals. If you, I'm not sure if you guys remember, but Tactical and Core JJ were such a crucial part of this team's success in the previous year. So seeing these guys, you know, you get to see Tactical on things like the Callista. You know, you're getting to see Core JJ. I want to point out had 5 different picks throughout the series. The versatility is just ridiculous. Even with the Tom Kench support, like he played Tom Kench, he played Bard, he played Gragas, he played Set, he played Rel. All of these champions. He looked pretty effective on, and that's very encouraging for me to see as a TL fan. But again, I think the biggest thing I have been asking for from TL for such a long time, in the spring split, you know, even in like the preseason stuff, I needed to see Jensen come back and play proactively. And Jensen, throughout this final, like throughout this, you know, these playoffs, Jensen's level of play I think has risen. I don't know that I don't know that I can say that he's a completely different player from before. It does feel like he's playing with more agency, and it just feels like the team is clicking as a whole. So if you are a TL fan, I think this is all very, very encouraging to see and, you know, to talk about. But to be honest, like, with the way that 100 Thieves was playing, I was kind of surprised that TL dropped games in the manner that they did. You know, they lost Game 2, they lost Game 3 after a very, very strong Game 1 performance. And you kind of have to wonder what exactly happened there. I will say that the Viego was let through in Game 3, and the Viego is a champion that 100 Thieves, I'll be honest, Viego feels like a I don't want to call it a crutch. It is definitely a strong, strong champion for Closer. You can't give Closer these champions where he just gets to take over the game. You know, they gave him the Diana, they gave him the Viego. He did the exact same thing. You know, he wasn't able to quite do it on the Xin Zhao or on the Olaf or on the Lee Sin, but I think when, you know, he looks a lot less effective when he is on these champions like the Lee Sin, like the Olaf, like the early game tempo champs. I think he, you know, if 100 Thieves are moving forward and trying to play to their strengths in this next matchup, try and prioritize the Viego, try and prioritize the Diana, things that can, you know, basically just own a game, because when Closer is having a good game, 100 Thieves looks fantastic. When he's not having a good game, they really look lost. Moving forward to give my little predictions before we wrap up. I gotta be honest, I think Cloud9 are taking this series 3-2 in the losers finals. I think they will move on to play TL, and then I think TL will take the finals 3-2 from Cloud9. That is my predictions. We'll see if things really end up that way. You know, sometimes crazy things can happen. It's the LCS. It's NA League of Legends. So I don't know. Maybe Fudge Factor will come back. Maybe Fudge will go on 20 or something in the finals. Who knows? But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys tune in to the games over the weekend, and we'll catch you on the next one.